we acknowledge that the name Moroni was taken from the Wodawurrung people of Australia to do better for future reconciliation. Hello, namaste, and welcome back to Disha in Australia. Surprise! This is the season 2 of Disha in Australia, and I'm pretty excited and super, super grateful to each and every one of you who has supported Disha in Australia last year, and it has been a true wonderful journey for me. I've spent the summer in India, and it's been a really introspective journey for me as well. And I got to hear a lot of compliments, a lot of feedbacks from you guys. It was really lovely to know how you guys feel about the show and how you want things to come in. And the entire feedback has been super supportive, and I'm truly, truly grateful to each and every one of you. Um, I didn't actually believe that this was going to happen, but yes, we are back again, and this time we have our own special merch, because why should only societies and departments have all the cool merch? We got our own merch. So get excited for the Shine Australia season 2. This year is going to be a little bit different, with new things, new stuff happening. And we are still live on YouTube, we are still live on Varani Radio, and we are gonna be on Spotify as well. So last year was more about international student experience, but this year I'm gonna try and get professionals on board to speak about how their journey as an immigrant, or as an international student who arrived in an unknown country and then stepping into professional sector, and how it has changed. Along with that, it's going to be a lot more about my experiences as well, because last year, in all these international student journeys and experiences, we somehow diverted our focus, and this year we're gonna stick to that. So let's get started. So I hope you all had a wonderful year last year. So last year was pretty fun, and it was a lot about introspecting after the whole first year ended. And now I'm in my second year, which feels a bit different, and I see all the first years and I feel a bit nostalgic, which is quite fine. But yeah, so first year was more about exploring everything and knowing everyone, socializing, being in every event possible, which was kind of super hectic and super stressful. So, if any first year is listening, I just want to give one piece of advice, which is, please do not take part in everything, because you might end up in a burnout situation. Just go into things that you really want to do, and go with the flow. Go with the things that you really want to do. Do not be a part of the crowd. Do not try to do things that are that is just common and everyone is doing and your friends are doing, so you just want to jump in. um, do what your heart wants to do. That would be my advice to first years. And as I've moved into second year, I have realized I've chosen to be a little bit more calmer than my first year, because I remember, if it was my first year at this time, I would have been running all over the place and being everywhere I could possibly at. And this year, it's more about being focused on the things that I really want to do, being close to my close friends, being distant from the people that do not bring joy, being like miles, miles away from toxic environment, and just maintaining and protecting my own peace. So I believe that first year was more about experiencing how things go, and then second year helps you understand that, okay, this was whatever you saw in the first year, and then second year you are back up with experiences, you know the things that have happened, and now you just wanna you don't wanna repeat your own mistakes, and you really wanna be the best version of yourself. And that's beautiful, and that's what all second years really need. So as we are back on my show today, at the show in Australia, first of all, Last year, after ending my show, I was super humbled, super grounded, and super, super grateful after receiving so much love, and not just in ANU, but a lot of people from outside ANU, from my own home country, India, from everywhere in Australia. I've received a lot of love, I've received criticism, but overall, I have just been super overwhelmed with the amount of love that Disha in Australia has received. Um, so, as of now, as we are here today, I'm going to share about a little bit about what I did the entire summer, and also about my first solo trip in Australia. So, after the show ended in November, I went on my first solo trip, which was on 27th or 29th, yeah, 29th of the November 2023, which was pretty fun. And that was my first solo trip in Australia, and it was actually my first time being exactly solo, and it was really, really fun experience, and I would recommend everyone to go on at least one solo trip in your lifetime, because it's revolutionary. It's like amazing, and I loved every bit of it, because it just helped me realize that I'm capable of doing everything that I ever want to do. And I was just super happy, and I loved it. The best thing about the trip was, after you come back home and you realize the things that have happened, you just feel like that day, that moment, and those 3 days when I was there, those were made for me. And it was just, I was living the best part of my life. So my journey for my Melbourne trip started when I was like convincing all my friends to come to Melbourne, and we'll have fun. um, and most of them were like, yeah, heads up for the time being, and then heads down when the plans were actually coming to life. And I was like, I actually don't want to cancel my plan, because I really want to go to this trip now, no matter who says what or whatever anyone is saying. I just want to go to Melbourne, because I can't be missing out on plans just because my friends are not up for it. And I've done it a lot, and I decided that I'll not do this time. So the day was finalized. I was like, I'm going on 29 November. If anyone wants to join, they can. If they don't, it's their choice. I'm gonna leave. So my parents were a bit scared, because of obviously a 19-year-old in an unknown country where there are no relatives, and I've started my life from scratch. So no one knew me. I knew no one. So it was just like starting everything from scratch and then going on a solo trip. So my parents were a bit scared, but then I was like, you know, I'm not gonna stop. So it's better if you agree. And then my dad says, okay, yeah, you can go. And then I finally booked my tickets, and so I booked my ticket, and I was still hoping that someone might join in. And then I booked my hostel, I booked my tickets, I booked all these fun things. I booked Puffing Billy, I booked Skydeck and Luna Park, a lot of things, because I was like, I'm gonna go on this really amazing trip where I experience everything about Melbourne, and I get to live. So I booked my train tickets, and then I am off to my train, which was amazing experience, because I went there solo. And in the morning, when I booked an Uber, a Tesla came to pick me up, which was like, oh my god, this is my main character moment. Because see, I'm being taken away with a Tesla, and then I'm going on a train to one of the most livable cities in the world, and one of the most popular next city in the world, which is Melbourne. And I was literally dressed so OG, and I was like overdressed for a train ride. I was like wearing this such a huge fur jacket. It was a coat, a long fur coat, a pink fur coat, along with a hiker's bag and a crop top and a jeans. a bootcut jeans, and I was like feeling super super like main character vibe, and I was all dressed up, dolled up, and glammed for my first solo trip. And I was like, let's go. And then a Tesla comes, and I'm like, this moment can't be more better. I ordered an Uber, and a Tesla comes up, and then I sit with my all mob well aesthetic, and I'm like, yeah, take me to my train. And then I go to my train, and I'm there sitting, and then I finally spot like one of my friend from ANU, and then we both sit together and we're chatting like the entire time, which was fun. And I got to see a lot of places in Australia, obviously just through the window, but they were fun to see. It was a lot of rural Australia, a lot of towns in the New South Wales, sorry, not New South Wales. It was Yass, it was Colburn, it was then Victoria, Wodonga, Albury, um, and there was this one stop, starts from G. I don't remember the full name, but then we finally reached to Melbourne, and then from Melbourne, I was like, oh my god, this is so different from Canberra, because as soon as I go out of this train station, the Southern Cross train station, I step out, I see the 7-Eleven and this whole green aesthetic of the city with vintage buildings. The green aesthetic is basically the free trams. They're all green. And I was like, okay. So whatever. I just move out and I see so many people crossing that train station red light. And I was like, this is the entire population of Canberra. This is like too many people. And I was like, oh my god, I'm in a different country altogether, because Canberra is like 100 times different from Melbourne. And then I felt like, I might be belonging to Melbourne, because the city is all I ever needed. And then I just come to this Melbourne aesthetic and be like, I belong to Melbourne, Melbourne belongs to me. And then I am just all over the place taking this tram to my hostel. And I finally get into my hostel, which was Flinders. And it was on Flinders Street, which was apparently the whole European street, because the only thing I can see there are Europeans. The only food I can eat there is European. And the only people I met there were European. So it was just basically the whole European street. And I get into my hostel, I sit, I get on my bed, and there are like a few friends I meet, which are obviously again Europeans. But Europeans are so fun, man. They're like all there just to live. They want to live their life. They are there just for the living part of life, which is again so crazy, because you know how most of the people are like working half of their life, and they finally think that it's time for vacation and we should go. And the European perspective is, we enjoy the entire life, and in between enjoyment we might give a little bit preference to work. I love European perspective, I love it, except for the part that they're very fucking rich and we are not. So that's where the difference lies. But anyways, I met another European person, obviously, and then she and I vibed pretty well. And then we went to cafe hopping. Obviously, we are in Melbourne, we are on Flinders Street. What else do we need to do? So we went like cafe hopping, and we went to all these hip places on Flinders Street and the Federation Square and everything around that area, the Hoises Lane, all the street art, the paintings, everything was immensely so beautiful. And then I finally thought that, oh, this is actually going pretty well. And I really started loving it, because they were all strangers and they were all pretty good to me. So I tried the Japanese ramen, and I remember each and every detail of my Melbourne trip, because it was truly so much close to my heart, because obviously it was my first solo trip. So having a Japanese ramen for the first time at Shujinko, which is a Japanese restaurant, the whole vibe was so beautiful, with all these things and lanterns and all the Japanese culture, and served in such big ceramic bowls and chopstick and everything. I took centuries to eat that Japanese ramen bowl. It was so huge. it had so much food, and I was like, oh my god, I can't eat it whole, but I didn't want to waste my money too, because Japanese food is expensive. And then I was there for 1.5 hours trying to finish my food, which I couldn't, so I finally had to give up. And then but it was cute to see all the Europeans just waiting for me to finish my food, and they didn't even like interrupt me once. They were like, let her eat. They didn't even say like you should hurry or maybe anything like that. They were like, okay, you eat, we'll keep talking. And then it was interesting to see how Europeans perceive Indians, and how they have their own Indian perspective, which I believe is a pretty common perspective, that we eat a lot of spicy food. And they thought that Japanese food was bland for me, which was, but I won't lie, but it was good. It wasn't like I would be carrying my masala everywhere, which I do sometimes, but I wasn't carrying there, for your information. But it was a really nice and fulfilling meal. And then I got a chance to go to the oldest place in um, Melbourne, the oldest photo shop place, which had the ink, black and white ink, and that was one out of the very few photo booths left in all over Australia. And the ink exports from Germany. And I was looking for that place. I was like walking at the Flinders Street over and over again, and I couldn't find that place. And I was like contacting all my friends who ever visited that place, and I was like, I need to know this place because I want that black and white photo of me. And then I finally find it. So a 7-Eleven store tells me that, okay, this is the store that you need to go, and this guy just keeps looking at me until I reach there. Like he keeps staring. He's not like, okay, I've told her the place, now she'll go and she'll find it and she'll handle it. And then I was like literally keep creeped out. Why is this guy just staring? Till the point I reach there, I see him still staring, and I'm like, what the hell is wrong? And then I understand what the hell is wrong. So as soon as I enter the photo booth, it requires you to have coins. And now I understand why he's staring at me, because I'm obviously gonna go back to him and give him and ask him coins, and I'll pay him through card. And he knew. And I was like, man, if you knew this, then why did you send me all the way crossing the roads to a different place and kept staring at me and didn't say a word, and then wanted me to realize it and come back to you for the coins? And then I was like, yeah, I need the coins. Do you have the coins? And then he's like, oh, yes, I do have the coins. I was waiting for you to come back. And I'm like, you could have said it to me before, so I would have not been there twice. But, anyways, so now I give him like um, money through card. And he's like, actually, I have $7. I don't have $8. And, I can't do this. So I'm like, just now you said that you can do this. So you have to do this. Now this guy turns out to be a Desi or Indian. Um, and then I'm like using all my skills. Like I get back to my Indian manipulative skills. And if I see an Indian, they are supposed to, you know, be answerable and say what I do. So say what I ask them to do. And then this guy, I'm like, you have to give it to me. No, no, no. You send me there first. I came back again. You have to do this. And he's like, you can ask this shop, this shop, this shop. And I'm like, no, you have to give this for me. And then this guy is like, collecting the coins from every place that he could ever think of, and he finally gets $8. And I'm like, thank you so much, and here is your $8 by card, which was super easy for me because I just had to tap my card. And this guy, I feel so bad for this guy because he was like everywhere just to find $8 for me. But thank you so much. If you ever end up listening to my podcast, thank you. um but then I go to this little photo booth, which was really cute, in this little area just outside the Flinders Street station. And you go there, you get your picture clicked, and just feels super vintage, because in these days and age it's so hard to find vintage things, and I'm a sucker for that. I love old vintage stuff, and yeah, I just love it. So now, this was all still very good, but now we are entering into more interesting parts. So, next day, I am off to Puffing Billy, which has to be one of the best experience of my life. I ended up with like tears in my eyes. It was so good. I mean, I could have never gotten a better place, a better date to be on that trip. And you know, the best part about that whole trip was I booked my tickets are almost a week before departing. And then one of my friend who accidentally said that, oh, I might join as well. She sees our Puffing Billy for the tickets, and she sees that the tickets are all booked out till 3rd of January. So I was the one who got the last ticket to that particular place. And I was like, oh my god, this trip was meant to be for me. I still have that printed paper copy of that ticket, which is so cute and vintage. It has written Thursday, 30th November, Disha Taneja, and J box, and the last seat. So that was the last ticket that was sold to me. And after that, the sales ended. There were no tickets left, and I was so glad because I got that seat. And I always wanted to be on Puffing Billy, and felt like a dream come true moment for me. So yes, I go to this Puffing Billy, and I was there an hour early, so I got the chance to explore everything around me. And I saw a lot of people have been very kind to me throughout my whole journey in Australia. And there was this another woman who was really nice to me, as she helped me in getting this little souvenir, which again required cash. So a tip: when you're traveling, do carry some amount of cash, because some of the places do require you to have cash, especially like places that are vintage and old. So like Puffing Billy is super super old, and it's been there for so many years, and it's actually the steam engine. So yes, always do carry cash with you whenever you are traveling. Other than that, so I sat on this Puffing Billy, and you're supposed to keep your legs out, and I see no one in my little box. So in that train box, no one was keeping their legs out, and I was like, all over my reels, the only thing that I saw was people keeping the legs out, and that's not the case here, which is kind of weird. And I was like, is this even true, or have they prohibited it now? Because that was the thing I really wanted to do. And I see the person in from the G box, they start putting their legs out, and the J box is still not putting their legs out. So I was like, I don't care if you're gonna put your legs out or not, but I am. So I became the first person who do that, to do that, and then everyone started following, which was cool. And then I went to the lakeside, and the whole views were so so beautiful. I mean, I have never seen such beautiful views. They were beyond amazing, and I loved every part of it. Um, and it was just an unbelievable experience for me. Every local was waving at you, and all the charcoals, fragrance, and the steam engine, and all those little stops that we were stopping at, and seeing you going back to the time, and all these forests, and those bushes, the trees, the bridges. I feel like no one can ever erase those memories from my head, and they felt super super beautiful. um After that, once we arrived at Lakeside, I ordered a giant meal for myself because I was hungry. And for the first time, I was happy saying yes, table for one, because I'm here for myself, guys. And it was a lovely experience. So on my way back, this time, the J box people were so bad to me. Even though I told them that we are supposed to keep our legs out, they all were sitting with their legs out and no space for me to sit. So I felt really sad, but then I thought that I won't let them ruin my moment. And I go to this backside of the J box, which had the option to keep your whole body out. And I go to this option, and my half body is out. And I felt more happy because I could wear my headphones, listen to my favorite song, and just lean on that particular thing. And it was really, really nice. And there was this girl who was having her professional camera and she started clicking, and I really enjoyed it. I was listening to my favorite playlist, and I just felt that this was the dream I was always looking forward to, and I was living it because I was in the middle of a forest in Victoria, in the oldest train in Australia, the oldest steam engine, and I was just living the best part of my life. And that was the moment I had tears in my eyes because you know how you see certain dreams, and then there comes a time when those dreams turn into reality, and you actually see your journey when it actually really turned into a reality, and you see your struggles, you see your up and downs, and you finally realize that, oh, it has finally come true, and nothing in the world can replace that happiness. It's just the most beautiful feeling ever. Then I come back and I go to Skydeck Melbourne, the best views of Melbourne, and it was really nice. Um, but after Skydeck Melbourne, um, the other day I went to Luna Park and explored the places. I was really nice, and in Luna Park again, it was amazing to be on all the rides. And I met my lodge, my hall's receptionist there, which was like, oh, this world is so small, you cannot even imagine how many people you can meet along the way. But now comes the most interesting part, and I just felt like I was the main character for this part because I enjoyed it so much. So what happened was, um 1 second, yeah. So what happened was that I was supposed to take a train back to Canberra. I was supposed to take my train back to Canberra, to come back to my little home. And it was 6 a.m. in the morning. My train was at 7, but I woke up at 6:15 a.m. It was just 45 minutes to my train, and I felt like I missed it. I can't be running and be catching the train in 45 minutes. And I was like, maybe I should sleep again, live here for another day, and then book my train on Sunday because it was a Saturday. But Sunday was the last shift of my first job because then I was leaving to India. So it was my last shift for 2023. And I was like, I don't want to miss that. But there's no way I'm going to be there at 7. This is the craziest incident that has ever happened with me. Now I am like, okay, I sleep for 5 minutes. I wake up at 6:20, and I'm like, no, I can't miss this train. I have to run. And so I do. So I wore my clothes over my night suit because I didn't have the time to open my luggage and put my night suit back in. So I was wearing my clothes, day wear clothes, on top of my night suit. And then I take my luggage and I'm out of the Flinders hostel, and I come to this reception and I'm like, I need my security deposit back, but it should be really quick. And then they're like, okay, we are processing it. And I fill my water bottle and that's fine. I'm like, you have to do it really quick. And they're like, okay, okay, we're doing it. And I was like, yeah, please do it. And then 6:30, taking my refundable deposit and everything, I'm back. I'm out of Flinders. And now I am like, okay, we still have 30 minutes left for my train, so I might be able to make it. So now we have 30 minutes left for my train, and I still am in the process that maybe I should leave this, or maybe I should go. Maybe I'll just talk to them and maybe extend one more day, I should I should like literally just try and go. So I run over to the tram station, and um, I'm running over to the tram station, and I'm waiting for this train, which Google says is arriving in 2 minutes, but it doesn't. So now the other trains is about to be there in 4 minutes, which is again they're not. And I'm like, it's 6:45, and now there's no way I'll be there at my train station in 15 minutes, because I was at Flinders. My train was supposed to be depart from Southern Cross Station. And then I see Flinders Street Station, Belgrave, train number 6, that is departing in 5 minutes at 6:50. And I went to Belgrave, and I saw that the Belgrave trains stop at the Southern Cross Station. And that was the thing that I remember from 2 days ago when I went to Puffing Billy. But I expected that I'll not have any balance in my card, because I just recharged $10, and that was just for Puffing Billy, because it is expected like you pay $5 when you go and $5 when you return. Um, but when I came back from Puffing Billy, the the tapping system wasn't working. So I tapped, and this officer comes and he said that, and I tell him that it's not opening even though I've tapped. So he puts up his own card and it opens, and then I go. Fortunately, because the $5 of tapping off weren't deducted, that thing opened up. And then at 6:50, I take this train to Belgrave, and I am at the Southern Cross station at around 6:53. And then as soon as I land at the Southern Cross station, I see the V line bus, and I was like, okay, this is finally happening. I am finally gonna reach there, because now, after all the things that have happened, I literally deserve to go back to Canberra, because now I have sacrificed my sleep. I have sacrificed one more day of living in Melbourne, and now I need to go back again. So the V line that I see was not going to Canberra. And I stepped onto that V line and was going to some other station. And I was like, oh shit. Now you have literally 4 minutes left to catch your train to Canberra. And now I see another V line where I was like, it is going to depart because it's just 4 minutes left. So I call V line, and I was like, this train should not go, because I'm right there standing at Southern Cross Station. Your systems aren't working, and it's so difficult to navigate. I'm an international person and I can't find it. I was super nervous, and this whole thing was like, I was like literally on that guy, please don't let the train go, please don't let the train go. And he's like, mom, calm down, the train is not going yet, the train is not going yet, you can make out to there. And then I was like finally at the V line, which was going to Canberra, after like not able to understand which way to go. So I was like halfway hopping and jumping from different places just to be at that platform. And then I finally reached at that platform, and this guy's like, ma'am, ticket. And I was like, I've been running since 6 a.m. in the morning, and you still need to see my ticket. But I still show him my ticket, like as a quick glance, and he's like, yes, please run, please run. And then I sit into my train, and then I go. But the best experience out of this whole journey was that, like how things are like all aligned together to work for you. So who would have known that the Belgrave coming back station would not work that particular day itself? Just because it wasn't working, I could board the train from the Flinders Street station to Southern Cross station, and I was able to come back to Canberra. So I feel everything in your life has been super spontaneous, and it's all decided, and you're just playing like a character in it. And it just felt like the whole Melbourne trip, the whole experiences, everything that I was able to experience was just meant for me. And if I would have been with any other person, I could not have lived that particular thing that I lived as a solo traveler, and I realized that how people have different perspectives of solo traveling. It's actually different for everyone, and it's actually the process of realizing what you actually really like. So, there's one thing that I want to share, actually, two or more, because I love sharing stuff. So, all my life, I really wanted to be this one character from my favorite movie, Ye Jawani Hai Diwani, which was Bunny. And I always wanted to be that person who goes out, who travels, who doesn't care about anyone or anything, who's a nomad, who goes to different cities, does not have a place called home, and each country, each city is his home. All my life, I wanted to be that. And then when I came back from Melbourne to Canberra, to my home, and I was in my room, I realized how much I love the comfort of home. Even though living in Canberra is so different because I'm not with my family, I'm not with my parents, I'm not with my cat, but this place is home to me. I study here, I work here, I've built my life from scratch here. And then I realized that's what Nana wanted, the character from YJHD, the life which is comfortable, the life that has home. And then I realized I don't want to be Nana, I don't want to be Bunny. I just want to be me. I just want to do things that make me happy. So then I realized I'm a girl who really likes traveling, who really loves venturing out, exploring, going on to places that are unknown, and having my own perspective of different places, love traveling, love that nomad life. But at the end of the day, I need a place that I can call home. In the same comforter, I sit in, sleep, eat, and do everything in that particular home. I need a home. And that what makes all these experiences worthwhile, because you realize that you are not supposed to be a carbon copy of the person that you admire. So I'll repeat myself again, because this is an important thing that I have learned over these past years, that um, all your life we try to be exactly like our inspiration. We try to copy the person that we admire the most. But then I realized you don't have to be the carbon copy of the person that you inspire the most, that you're inspired from the most. You actually have to be yourself. You can have bits and pieces of different people and different different things that you have experienced all through your life, and different characters. And then, yeah, so uh, uh, as I was saying, that you don't have to be the person that you see on the screen. You just have to be yourself. You can take bits and pieces from your inspirations and the people that you admire the most, but you have to see what works for you and who are you. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you are a second bunny or a second person of this very famous personality. It matters who you are. If it's Disha Taneja, it matters. If it's someone that's already being known and I'm the second copy of that, it won't matter, because no one like fake copies. Everyone loves original work. So that was the biggest lesson that I really learned after my Melbourne solo trip. And this is something that is going to stick with me forever, because I've been living in that bubble. I've been living that I want to be like them. But now I just want to be myself. I just want to experience things that I want to do, and not the things that are there for other people, or are just what other people do. So that was pretty much about my Melbourne solo trip and the learnings I had. The best part was I felt like the main character in that Melbourne solo trip. And I feel the main character here as well, because the energy that you pass is the energy that you actually take. So how people perceive you is actually the direct reflection of how you perceive yourself. And if you think that you have the capability to do things that you really like doing, and you have the power to hold and to make all the important decisions of in your life. And you can also influence other people's thoughts according to your thoughts. You are the most powerful person here. No one has to come to you to tell you how powerful you are, because you already know it. One interesting observation I had was, we all know that we all know our flaws. We all know the things that are bothering us. We know the ways how to escape them, or how to tackle them, or how to mitigate these situations and find new ways. Our brain knows everything, but we just don't walk towards them. Either we are too scared to do them, or either we are too scared to do them, or you just don't want to face them. And there was this one more interesting thing that I was seeing. Sometimes there are things that keep on bothering you, and you just don't let go of them. So that's a really important thing to keep in mind, that you actually let go of things. And that's actually a way for you to understand that it's important to let go of things in order to go out and venture for new things. So, a very interesting observation that I had was, so my nail broke a few days ago and was like half broke, wasn't full broken. And as girls, we love our nails, especially when they're long, and we have painted them in a beautiful color, and you don't want them to be broken. So my nail half broke, and I didn't want to break it. But if I don't break it, it's gonna hurt me, and it really hurts really, really bad if you don't cut that half broken nail away. That's with the things that you hold on to. If you don't cut them off, they're gonna hurt you. So the moment you cut them off, even though it's not as beautiful looking as now, but they're gonna regrow. Similarly, your experiences or everything that you're holding on, if you let them go, no matter how beautiful or how much you love that particular thing, you have to let them go in order for new experiences to come and for your life to grow forward. So as your nail regrows, so are your thoughts, and so is your life. So as you go on, you have to let go of the things that does not bring you peace, that are bothering you. And that's one of the most valuable lessons that I've learned, that if there's something that is bothering you, you have to let them go. And that's the only way to maintain your peace and to bring happiness to your door. I feel like peace is so much important, because it just makes your brain calm down, and you know which direction you want to follow, and you actually don't get involved into this path of toxicity where you are continuously running for certain things, and you know that you might not be able to get hold of them, and you're just running because you are in this rat race. And it actually depends on you if you want to be in that rat race, if you want to go and do some things that are not a part of what everyone does, and you're finding things that actually give you peace and not the things that are just the things that everyone is doing. And that's the most beautiful learning that I've had so far. Going back to India was also a very important um, thing, and it's actually so hard leaving your home for the second time, because first time you know what you have put yourself, you don't know what you're going to put yourself into. It's a new journey, new people, new experiences, unknown, everything is unknown to you, you don't know anything. And so you are super excited, but second year you already know what you have put yourself into, and you know your struggles, you know the things that you are supposed to do, and you know how much responsibilities increase as soon as you enter into your world again. So leaving home for the second time is definitely really harder than the first time. But I feel like if you don't, then you don't actually put yourself into an uncomfortable position for you to learn and grow. Until and unless you don't let go of your comfort, it's just gonna make you feel that maybe that this is not what I really wanted. Because 10 years down the line you might be thinking, oh, when I was 19, um I could have really worked on maybe one of your dream project. Like I could have worked making my business, or I could have learned how to do business. But if you don't do that and you just keep choosing your comfort, then 10 years down the line you won't have any experiences to share. So it's really important to let go of your comfort in order to just feel that you have done certain things. And I feel whenever I'm here, I'm very productive, and that makes me happy. I really like productive Disha. I really like her because it just makes me happy about the fact that I'm doing something and I'm not wasting my time. I'm building my dream, and each day I am becoming more proud of myself, because you're not the same person you were a year ago. Maybe a year ago you didn't even know how to speak on the mic, and today you're hosting a show. That's um different examples for different people. So I feel like for me, I would say 1.5 year ago, I would have been not 1.5 year ago, maybe like before June of 2022, I could have been the person that was too scared to go to any place without my parents, or maybe I didn't even know how to cross the roads very rightly. So, but I really learned it, and I learned it living in a different country and knowing how to work, how to talk to people, how to form connections, how to form meaningful connections. And it just made me the happiest, because I felt that, hey, this girl is capable of doing everything that she wants to. And that's the most liberating feeling ever. So this was all the things I wanted to talk about in my podcast today in on my radio show. And it's such a pleasure to return back to the Shine Australia, and I'm so grateful to Veroni um, for giving me this opportunity. And I just feel this place is my happy place. This place gives me comfort. This is a place for me to come rant out things, and also my introspections, also my reflections, my journey. And I just feel the happiest here. It just feels that this is the blessed place to be, and I would never stop doing this in Australia. It's beautiful, and it makes me happy. So this year's motto: choosing your happiness, choosing your peace, and staying out of the things that does not make you happy. So with this, I conclude the first episode of season 2 of Disha in Australia, and I am very, very grateful to everyone who has tuned into our radio today. And I hope you all will be there next week as well. And I am very, very grateful to everyone who has been super supportive throughout this journey, and in the season 1, in season 2. And I hope our show flourishes and it grows. And this year I'll try bringing up a lot of different people from different backgrounds, professionals and students. And as of now, I'm here concluding my show, the first episode of season 2 in the Sun Australia. And I am really, really grateful to each and everyone who has joined in from Veroni Radio or on YouTube Live. Thank you so, so much. And I'm extremely grateful. I'll see you all next week. Thank you so much for joining. And with this, we end our radio today. Thank you.